May Day by Ralph Waldo Emerson from May Day and Other Pieces, 1881. Daughter of heaven and earth, coy spring, with sudden passion languishing, maketh all things softly smile, painteth pictures mile on mile, holds a cup with cowslip wreaths, whence a smokeless incense breeze. Girls are peeling the sweet willow, poplar white, and gilead tree, and troops of boys shouting with whoop and hilloa, and hip hip 3 times 3. The air is full of whistlings bland. What was that I heard out of the hazy land? Harp of the wind, or song of bird, or clapping of shepherd's hands, or vagrant booming of the air, voice of a meteor lost in day? Such tidings of the starry sphere can this elastic air convey. Or haply 'twas the cannonade of the pent and darkened lake, cooled by the pendant mountain's shade, whose deeps, till beams of noonday break, afflicted moan and latest hold even into May, the iceberg cold. Was it a squirrel's pettish bark, or clarionet of jay, or hark, where you wedged line the Nestor leads, steering north with raucous cry through tracts and provinces of sky, every night alighting down in new landscapes of romance, where darkling feed the clamorous clans by lonely lakes to men unknown. Come the tumult whence it will, voice of sport or rush of wings, it is a sun, it is a token that the marble sleep is broken and a change has passed on things. Beneath the calm, within the light, a hid, unruly appetite of swifter life, a surer hope, strains every sense to larger scope, impatient to anticipate the halting steps of aged fate. Slow grows the palm, too slow the pearl. When nature falters, fain would zeal grasp the felloes of her wheel, and, grasping, give the orbs another whirl. Twirl swifter round, O tardy ball, and sun this frozen side. Bring hither back the robin's call, bring back the tulip's pride. Why chidest thou the tardy spring? The hardy bunting does not chide. The blackbirds make the maples ring with social cheer and jubilee. The redwing flutes his okalee. The robins know the melting snow. The sparrow meek, prophetic-eyed, her nest beside the snowdrift weaves, secure. The osier yet will hide her callow brood in mantling leaves. And thou by science all undone, why only must thy reason fail to see the southing of the sun? As we thaw frozen flesh with snow, so spring will not, foolish fond, mix polar night with tropic glow, nor cloy us with unshaded sun, nor wanton skip with Bacchic dance, but she has the temperance of the gods, whereof she is one, masked her treasury of heat under east winds crossed with sleet. Plants and birds and humble creatures well accept her rule austere. Titan born to hardy natures, cold is genial and dear. As southern wrath to northern right is but straw to anthracite, as in the day of sacrifice, when heroes piled the pyre, the dismal Massachusetts ice burned more than others' fire, so spring guards with surface cold the garnered heat of ages old, hers to sow the seed of bread, that man and all the kinds be fed, and, when the sunlight fills the hours, dissolves the crust, displays the flowers. The world rolls round, mistrust it not, befalls again what once befell, all things return, both sphere and mote, and I shall hear my bluebird's note, and dream the dream of Auburn Dell. When late I walked in earlier days, all was stiff and stark, knee-deep snows choked all the ways, in the sky no spark. Firm braced I sought my ancient woods, struggling through the drifted roads. The whited desert knew me not, snow ridges masked each darling spot. The summer dells by genius haunted, one arctic mood had disenchanted. All the sweet secrets therein hid, by fancy ghastly spells undid. Eldest mason Frost had piled, with wicked ingenuity, swift cathedrals in the wild. The piney host were sheeted ghosts, in the starlit minster aisled. I found no joy, the icy wind might rule the forest to his mind, who would freeze in frozen breaks. Back to books and sheltered home, and wood fire flickering on the walls, to hear when mid our talk and games, without the baffled north wind calls, but soft, a sultry morning breaks, the cowslips make the brown brook gay, a happier hour, a longer day, now the sun leads in the May, now desire of action wakes, and the wish to roam. The caged linnet in the spring hearkens for the choral glee, when his fellows on the wing migrate from the southern sea. When trellised grapes their flowers unmask, and the newborn tendrils twine, the old wine darkling in the cask feels the bloom on the living vine, and bursts the hopes at hint of spring. And so, perchance in Adam's race of Eden's bower some dreamlike trace survived the flight and swam the flood, and wakes the wish in youngest blood to tread the forfeit paradise, and feed once more the exile's eyes. And ever when the happy child in May beholds the blooming wild, and hears in heaven the bluebird sing, onward, he cries, your baskets bring, in the next field is air more mild, and o'er yon hazy crest is Eden's balmier spring. Not for a regiment's parade, nor evil laws or rulers made, blue Walden rolls its cannonade, but for a lofty sign which the zodiac threw, that the bondage days are told, and waters free as winds shall flow. Lo, how all the tribes combine to root the flying foe! See, every patriot oak leaf throws his elfin length upon the snows, not idle, since the leaf all day draws to the spot the solar ray. Ere sunset querying inches down, and halfway to the mosses brown, while the grass beneath the rime has hints of the propitious time, and upward pries and perforates through the cold slab 1,000 gates, till green lances peering through bend happy in the welkin blue. April cold with dropping rain, willows and lilacs brings again the whistle of returning birds and trumpet lowing of the herds. The scarlet maple keys betray what potent blood hath modest May, what fiery force the earth renews, the wealth of forms, the flush of hues. Joy shed in rosy waves abroad flows from the heart of love, the Lord. Hither rolls the storm of heat, I feel its finer billows beat, like a sea which me unfolds, heat with viewless fingers molds, swells and mellows and matures, paints and flavors and allures, bird and briar inly warms, still enriches and transforms, gives the reed and lily length, adds to oak and oxen strength, boils the world in tepid lakes, burns the world, yet burnt remakes, enveloping heat, enchanted robe, wraps the daisy and the globe, transforming what it doth enfold, life out of death, new out of old. Painting fawns and leopards' fells, sees the gulf in crimsoning shells, fires gardens with a joyful blaze of tulips in the morning's rays. The dead log touched bursts into leaf, the wheat blade whispers of the sheaf. What god is this imperial heat, earth's prime secret, sculpture's seat? Doth it bear hidden in its heart waterline patterns of all art, all figures, organs, hues, and graces? Is it Daedalus? Is it love? Or walks in mask almighty Jove, and drops from power's redundant horn all seeds of beauty to be born? Where shall we keep the holiday, and duly greet the entering May? Too strait and low our cottage doors, and all unmeet our carpet floors. Nor spacious court, nor monarch's hall suffice to hold the festival. Up and away, where haughty woods front the liberated floods, we will climb the broad-backed hills, hear the uproar of their joy. We will mark the leaps and gleams of the new delivered streams, and the murmuring rivers of sap mount in the pipes of the trees, giddy with day to the topmost spire, which for a spike of dinter green bartered its powdery cap, and the colors of joy in the bird and the love in its carol heard. Frog and lizard in holiday coats, and turtle brave in his golden spots, we will hear the tiny roar of the insects evermore, while cheerful cries of crag and plain reply to the thunder of river and main. As poured the flood of the ancient sea, spilling over mountain chains, bending forest as bends the sedge, faster flowing o'er the plains, a world-wide wave with a foaming edge that rims the running silver sheet, so pours the deluge of the heat broad northward o'er the land, painting artless paradises, drugging herbs with Syrian spices, fanning secret fires which glow in columbine and clover blow, climbing the northern zones where 1,000 pallid towns lie like cockles by the main, or tinted armies on a plain. The million-handed sculptor molds quaintest bud and blossom folds. The million-handed painter pours opal hues and purple dye. Azaleas flush the island floors, and the tints of heaven reply. Wreaths for the May, for happy spring, today shall all her dowry bring. The love of kind, the joy, the grace, hymen of element and race, knowing well to celebrate, with song and hue and star and state, with tender light and youthful cheer, the spousals of the newborn year. Lo, love's inundation poured over space and race abroad. Spring is strong and virtuous, broad sowing, cheerful, plenteous, quickening underneath the mold, grains beyond the price of gold. So deep and large her bounties are, that one broad long midsummer day shall to the planet overpay the ravage of a year of war. Drug the cup, thou butler, see, and send the nectar round. The feet that slid so long on sleet are glad to fill the ground. Fill and saturate each kind with good according to its mind. Fill each kind and saturate with good agreeing with its fate. Willow and violet, maiden and man. The bittersweet, the haunting air, creepeth, bloweth everywhere. It preys on all prey on it. Blooms in beauty, thinks in wit, stings the strong with enterprise, makes travelers long for Indian skies. And where it comes, this courier fleet, fans in all hearts expectance sweet, as if tomorrow should redeem the vanished rose of evening's dream. By houses lies a fresher green, on men and maids a readier mien, as if time brought a new relay of shining virgins every May, and summer came to ripen maids to a beauty that not fades. The ground pines wash their rusty green, the maple tops their crimson tint. On the soft path each track is seen, the girl's foot leaves its neater print. The pebble loosened from the first, asks of the urchin to be tossed in flint and marble, beats a heart, the kind earth takes her children's part. The green lane is the schoolboy's friend, low leaves his quarrel apprehend. The fresh ground loves his top and ball, the air rings jocund to his call. The brimming brook invites a leap, he dives the hollow, climbs the steep. The youth reads omens where he goes, and speaks all languages the rose. The woodfly mocks with tiny noise, the far halloo of human voice. The perfumed berry on the spray smacks of faint memories far away. A subtle chain of countless rings the next unto the farthest brings, and striving to be man, the worm mounts through all the spires of form. I saw the bud-crowned spring go forth, steeping daily onward north, to greet staid ancient cavaliers filing single and stately train. And who are the travelers? They were night and day and night. Pilgrims white with step forthright, I saw the days deformed and low, short and bent by cold and snow. The merry spring threw wreaths on them, flower wreaths gay with bud and bell. Many a flower and many a gem, they were refreshed by the smell. They shook the snow from hats and shoon, they put their April raiment on, and those eternal forms, unhurt by 1,000 storms, shot up to the height of the sky again, and danced as merrily as young men. I saw them mask their awful glance, sidewise meek in gossamer lids, and to speak my thought, if none forbids, it was as if the eternal gods, tired of their starry periods, hid their majesty in cloth, woven of tulips and painted moth. On carpets green the maskers march, below May's well-appointed arch, each star, each god, each grace amain, every joy and virtue speed, marching duly in her train, and fainting nature at her need is made whole again. 'Twas the vintage day of field and wood, when magic wine for bards is brewed, every tree and stem and chink gushed with syrup to the brink. The air stole into the streets of towns, and betrayed the fund of joy to the high school and medalled boy. On from hall to chamber ran, from youth to maid, from boy to man, to babes and to old eyes as well. Once more the old man cried, Ye clouds, airy turrets purple piled, which once my infancy beguiled, beguile me with the wonted spell. I know ye skilful to convoy the total freight of hope and joy into rude and homely nooks, shed mocking lustres on shelf of books, on farmer's byre, on meadow pipes, or on a pool of dancing chips. I care not if the pomps you show be what they south fast appear, or if yon realm and sunset glow be bubbles of the atmosphere, and if it be to you allowed to fool me with a shining cloud, so only new griefs are consoled by new delights, as old by old. Frankly I will be your guest, count your change, and cheer the best. The world hath overmuch of pain, if nature give me joy again, of such deceit I'll not complain. Ah, well I mind the calendar, faithful through 1,000 years of the painted race of flowers, exact to days, exact to hours. Counted on the spacious dial yon broidered zodiac girds. I know the pretty almanac of the punctual coming back. On their due days of the birds I marked them yestermorn. A flock of finches daring beneath the crystal arch, piping as they flew a march, belike the one they used in parting last year from yon oak or larch. Dusky sparrows in a crowd, diving, darting northward, free, suddenly betook them all, every one, to his hole in the wall, or to his niche in the apple tree. I greet with joy the coral trains, fresh from palms and Cuba's canes, best gems of nature's cabinet, with dews of tropic morning wet, beloved of children, bards, and spring. O birds, your perfect virtues bring, your song, your forms, your rhythmic flight, your manners for the heart's delight. Nestle in hedge of barn or roof, here weave your chamber weatherproof. Forgive our harms and condescend to man as to a lover friend, and generous teach his awkward race courage and probity and grace. Poets praise that hidden wine, hidden milk we drew at the barrier of time when our life was new. We had eaten fairy fruit, we were quick from head to foot. All the forms we looked on shone as with diamond dews thereon. What cared we for costly joys, the museum's far-fetched toys? Gleam of sunshine on the wall poured a deeper cheer than all. The revels of the carnival we a pine grove did prefer to a marble theatre, could with gods on mallow dine, nor cared for spices or for wine. Wreaths of mist and rainbow spanned arch on arch the grimmest land. Whistle of a woodland bird made the pulses dance. Note of horn in valleys heard filled the region with romance. None can tell how sweet, how virtuous the morning air, every accent vibrates well. Not alone the wood birds call, or shouting boys that chase their ball, past the height of minstrel skill, but the ploughman's thoughtless cry, lowing oxen, sheep that bleat, and the joiner's hammer beat, softened are above their will, all grating discords melt, no dissonant note is dealt, and though thy voice be shrill like rasping file on steel, such is the temper of the air, echo waits with art and care, and will the faults of song repair. So by remote superior lake, and by resounding Mackinac, when northern storms the forest shake, and billows on the long beach break, the artful air doth separate, note by note, all sounds that grate, smothering in her ample breast all but godlike words, reporting to the happy ear only purified accords. Strangely wrought from barking waves, soft music daunts the Indian braves, convent chanting which the child hears pealing from the panther's cave and the impenetrable wild. One musician is sure his wisdom will not fail. He has not tasted wine impure, nor bent to passion frail. Age cannot cloud his memory, nor grief untune his voice, ranging down the ruled scale, from tone of joy to inward wail, tempering the pitch of all in his windy cave. He all the fables knows, and in their cause tells, knows nature's rarest moods, ever on her secret broods. The muse of men is coy, oft courted will not come, in palaces and market squares entreated, she is dumb. But my minstrel knows and tells the counsel of the gods, knows of holy book the spells, knows the law of night and day, and the heart of girl and boy, the tragic and the gay, and what is writ on table round of Arthur and his peers, what sea and land discoursing say in sidereal years. He renders all his lore in numbers wild as dreams, modulating all extremes. What the spangled meadow saith to the children who have faith, only to children children sing, only to youth will spring be spring. Who is the bard thus magnified? When did he sing, and where abide? Chief of song, where poets feast, is the wind harp which thou seest in the casement at my side. Aeolian harp, how strangely wise thy strain! Gay for youth, sweet as art, but sweeter truth. In the hall that summer eve, fate and beauty skilled to weave, from the eager opening strings, rung loud and bold the song. Who but loved the wind harp's note? How should not the poet dote on its mystic tongue, with its primeval memory reporting what old minstrels said of Merlin locked the harp within? Merlin pain the pain of sin, pent in a dungeon made of air, and some attain his voice to hear words of pain and cries of fear, but piloted all on melody as fits the griefs of bards to be. And what if that all-echoing shell, which thus the buried past can tell, should rive the future and reveal what his dread folds would fain conceal? It shares the secret of the earth and of the kinds that owe her birth, speaks not of self that mystic tone, but of the over-gods alone. It trembles to the cosmic breath, as it heareth, so it saith, obeying meek the primal cause. It is the tongue of mundane laws. And this at least I dare affirm, since genius too has bound and term, there is no bard in all the choir, not Homer's self, the poet sire, wise Milton's odes of pensive pleasure, or Shakespeare, whom no mind can measure, or nor Collins' verse of tender pain, nor Byron's clarion of disdain, Scott the delight of generous boys, or Wordsworth, Pan's recording voice. Not one of all can put in verse, or to this presence could rehearse, the sights and voices ravishing the boy knew on the hills in spring, when pacing through the oaks he heard sharp queries of the sentry bird, the heavy grouse's sudden whir, the rattle of the kingfisher, saw bonfires of the harlot flies in the lowland when day dies, or marked benighted and forlorn the first far signal fire of morn. These syllables that nature spoke, and the thoughts that in him woke, can adequately utter none, save to his ear the wind harp lone, and best can teach its Delphian chord how nature to the soul is moored, if once again that silent string, as erst its wont, would thrill and ring. Not long ago at eventide it seemed, so listening at my side, a window rose, and, to say sooth, I looked forth on the fields of youth. I saw fair boys bestriding steeds, I knew their forms in fancy weeds, long, long concealed by sundering fates, mates of my youth, yet not my mates, stronger and bolder far than I, with grace, with genius well attired, and then as now from far admired, followed with love they knew not of, with passion cold and shy. O joy, for what recoveries rare, renewed I breathe Elysian air. See youth's glad mates in earliest bloom, break not my dream, obtrusive tomb. Or teach thou spring, the grand recoil of life resurgent from the soil, wherein was dropped the mortal spoil. Soft on the south wind sleeps the haze, so on thy broad mystic van lie the opal-colored days, and waft the miracle to man, soothsayer of the eldest gods, repairer of what harms betide, revealer of the inmost powers Prometheus proffered, Jove denied, disclosing treasures more than true, or in what far tomorrow due, speaking by the tongues of flowers, by the tin-tongued laurel speaking, singing by the oriole songs, heart of bird, the man's heart seeking, whispering hints of treasure hid under morn's unlisted lid, islands looming just beyond the dim horizon's utmost bound. Who can, like thee, our rags upbraid, or taunt us with our hope decayed? Or who, like thee, persuade, making the splendor of the air, the morn and sparkling dew, a snare? Or who resent thy genius, wiles and blandishments? There is no orator prevails to beckon or persuade, like thee, the youth or maid, thy birds, thy songs, thy brooks, thy gales, thy blooms, thy kinds, thy echoes in the wilderness, soothe pain and age and love's distress, fire fainting will, and build heroic minds. For thou, O spring, canst renovate all that high God did first create. Be still his arm and architect, rebuild the ruin men defect. Chemist, to vamp old worlds with new, coat sea and sky with heavenlier blue, new tint the plumage of the birds, and slow decay from grazing herds. Sweep ruins from the scarped mountain, cleanse the torrent at the fountain, purge alpine air by towns defiled, bring to fair mother fairer child. Not less renew the heart and brain, and scatter the sloth, watch out the stain. Make the aged eye sun clear, to parting soul bring grandeur near. Under gentle types my spring masks the night of nature's king, an energy that searches thorough, from chaos to the dawning morrow, into all our human plight, the soul's pilgrimage and flight, in city or in solitude, step by step lifts bad to good, without halting, without rest, lifting better up to best, planting seeds of knowledge pure, through earth to ripen, though heaven endure.